who's under more pressure when it comes to the game in Death Valley Saturday night? You got LSU, you got Bama. Kalen DeBoer in year 1, Brian Kelly in year 3 right now. And I got asked this question from our guy, Hunt Palmer, that does a tremendous job in Baton Rouge on the radio. I go over there every single Wednesday, I do a hit with him. And he asked a great question. He said, who is under more pressure to win on Saturday night? Make sure you are subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. College football, nothing but college football year round. Also want to make sure you know now the hard count brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. $5 in lineups. When you play with code HARDCOUNT, gets you $50 in promo funds. Got a square for you a little bit later in the segment. Make sure you're dialed in. We appreciate you for being subscribed. Appreciate you using that code. Is it Kalen DeBoer or is it Brian Kelly? And I think any way you answer this, whatever your opinion is, I don't think you're without a case. Like, I'll start with Kalen DeBoer here. Like, the expectations for the fan base of Alabama is really where that pressure comes from. Like, if you were to lose this game, I think it would feel a lot like whenever you fail a test early on in your college career. You get it back and you're like, oh my gosh, I just came from high school where I got relatively good grades. I wasn't really failing tests unless I wasn't studying. I studied for this thing, got my first exam back, and like I wasn't even close. And you sort of have this world is ending moment with yourself. And it might last a couple days, it might last 24 hours, but at some point in time, the sun rises again, you look around, you say, okay, all right, that wasn't ideal. However, one of my first exams, a lot of semester left. This doesn't define me. So if you do lose this game, now understand there will be that world is ending moment in Tuscaloosa, and it'll happen a lot throughout the following week. So that might be our clickbait defense if that happens, and we'll talk about that on the show next week. But like, Alabama is not used to losing 3 games in the regular season. Last time it happened was 2010. 2010. What was going on in 2010? I think LeBron James might have still been with the Miami Heat. Like that's how long ago that was. They're not used to this. And so does it mean actually internally things are blowing up in Tuscaloosa within that building? No. It means it's a year 1 team under Kalen DeBoer. Got some pieces through the portal, lost a lot through the portal. I don't think it defines Kalen DeBoer as much as maybe I think the following week would lead you to believe that it is. Now, I think the real pressure, my answer to this question, to give you a definitive answer here, I think the real pressure is on Brian Kelly. Because for Brian Kelly now, it is a mix of the opportunity that's in front of you with where Alabama's at, and it also is paired with the idea that you're a team that's in year 3 versus a team that's in year 1 under Kalen DeBoer. Like, Bama now has 2 losses. Okay, so they're probably as gettable as they've been in a long, long time with Kalen DeBoer at the helm. This is a team now that is coming to your place to play you at night, a scenario in which Brian Kelly has never lost. Like, this is the time now if you're Brian Kelly. This is the time if you're LSU to, like I said on the Tuesday show, shift the optics as to where LSU stands in the SEC going forward and where Alabama stands in the SEC going forward. Now, whether that's actually true or not is a whole other discussion. The optics is the key thing here, because what do optics generate? Recruiting juice. Okay, if you can walk into a living room as Brian Kelly and say, hey, I know you're between us and Bama. However, right now I'm 2-1 against Alabama at LSU, and I don't plan on stopping. Look at where we're at. Look at where they're at. Look at that game. That's the opportunity here for Brian Kelly. And to waste that opportunity, I think would just be so frustrating for the fan base in the moment. But then you have that world is ending moment in the same way that Alabama has it, but your world is ending moment, I think, turns into world is ending moments. It persists throughout the next few days. I think it might persist throughout the offseason, because the feeling would be then if you're Brian Kelly, hey, the expectation at LSU is to win national titles. And to win national titles, I don't think it's a stretch to say you probably got to get through Alabama more than once, potentially throughout the course of a season. And so if that's the expectation and you couldn't get that done against year 1 Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, like, Kalen DeBoer, man, say what you want about what they haven't done this year, they're not staying stagnant. Like, I don't expect Alabama to be a whole lot worse in the next several seasons under Kalen DeBoer. He's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. So again, this is your chance to get him. And if you don't get him right now, when's it going to happen? I'm not saying it can never happen, but I am saying right now the opportunity is so massive in that sense. And also, too, let's talk about the college football playoff for a second, because this Bama-LSU rivalry, it's bigger than any college football playoff implications could ever be. Make sure that's clear. But if we do want to talk about the elimination game status of this contest in Baton Rouge, make no mistake now, if you win this game, look what you have left. Got to go to Florida. Okay. Should be favored. I know it's the Swamp, but still should be favored. Vanderbilt, It's not your mom and dad's Vanderbilt, but still, you should be favored. You get them at the crib. And you got Oklahoma at the crib to finish the season. All 3 games, LSU probably should and will be favored in. So if you beat Alabama and you find yourself at 10-2 at the end of the college football season, forget what happens with the SEC title game and all that. I think LSU, as a one-loss conference or a one-conference loss team in the SEC, I get you got the USC loss. It is what it is. I think LSU makes the college football playoff. And so not just is this an elimination game for Bama and LSU. This is borderline for LSU a playoff all but clinching kind of game. Now, I understand, I'm not saying those games are just, layups. I'm not talking about Vanderbilt and that light or Florida or Oklahoma. But again, those are games that are much less of a hurdle than Alabama is if you're LSU. So I truly believe that for Brian Kelly, the time is now. I think the pressure is on him because of the opportunity, because you're in year 3, and because of where Bama is right now. The chance to shift the optics in the long run. Those chances don't come around every so often. I mean, this is a window here for Brian Kelly to kick the door in and to firmly place LSU ahead of Alabama in the SEC for at least the next calendar year and potentially further in Baton Rouge. So, with that being said, the square that we love in this game, I alluded to it already earlier on in this live show. Aaron Anderson, a receiver for LSU, his receiving yard total is 53.5. We love the more there. I already told you I think Alabama's secondary is very gettable. Also, Aaron Anderson been putting in work the last few seasons. Last few games, throughout the course of the season. 4 out of the last 5 games, he has averaged 78 yards. All right. So again, if that total is 53.5, feel pretty good about where things stand in relation to LSU's opportunity in this game. So code HARDCOUNT, $5 in lineups gets you $50 in promo funds moving forward. If you are going to the LSU-Alabama game this weekend in Baton Rouge, Whataburger Touchdown Tour, rolling to your city. So go ahead and check that out. A lot of different LSU athletes will be there, just giving away Whataburgers, I believe it is. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Get yourself a win to start the day. Get yourself a win before the game even happens. Whataburger Touchdown Tour, rolling through Baton Rouge. Go ahead and make sure you get yourself fed before things get riled up in Death Valley.